Welcome to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness, the podcast where we bridge the gap between modern life and ancient roots, cutting through the wellness noise so you can stop guessing and start building a lifestyle that actually works for you. I'm your host, Joe Swenson, herbalist and founder of Olivia Bell. So I have a question for you. How have you been sleeping this week? Because if the answer is not great or could be better, and if things have felt a little more intense than usual, a little more, shall we say, emotionally loaded, I want you to know that's not random. June 29th is the full moon, and your body is responding to something real. What you've been feeling is the buildup to the full moon. In the days leading up to a full moon, our melatonin dips, our sleep gets lighter, and our stress response system, well, let's just say it runs a little bit hotter than usual. Our body has been registering this all week long, whether or not we even realize it. The full moon is the peak, which means the release is already on the way, and I cannot say thank you enough. If you can give yourself a little grace over the next day or two, you're likely to notice things will start to settle down on the other side of crazy. This episode is about stress and anxiety, and the full moon can actually influence those feelings. I'm going to ask you to stay curious for the next however many minutes because I'm going to share with you something that's grounded in real biology, and it might explain something you've been quietly dealing with for a long time. There's a question out there that I get asked a lot. Can holistic wellness help with stress and anxiety? And the short answer is yes, but probably not in the way you're expecting. Holistic wellness isn't a supplement stack or a morning routine that you found on social media somewhere. It's not trendy. It's actually a complete way of looking at a human being, not just the parts that are struggling. And when it comes to stress and anxiety, that distinction matters more than most people realize. The conventional wellness approach typically zooms in on a problem. It'll zoom in on the anxiety, the diagnosis, the stress event. I like to zoom out because the presenting issue is rarely the whole story. And treating it in isolation is how people end up stuck in cycles they can't break. When a new client comes to me, burned out, overwhelmed, or deep in anxiety, I'm not starting with their symptoms. I'm starting with their life. What does a typical day look like from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep? What are they eating? Are they spending any time in nature? Do they have a spiritual practice? And if so, are they actually accessing it? Who supports them? What are their triggers? Are they lonely? I purposely ask those hard questions because they often explain why someone isn't getting better, even when they're doing everything they've been told to do. I want to share a story with you about somebody, and I'm going to call her Betty. She came to me dealing with significant anxiety, not generalized anxiety disorder, just a low grade amount of anxiety that wasn't going away. On the surface, it looked like a pretty straightforward stress response, but when we started walking through her full picture, something else emerged. Betty was also dealing with persistent brain fog. She was having difficulty concentrating, mental fatigue, a little bit of that cloudy, disconnected feeling. When we started digging deeper, it became clear that she was undernourished. Not starving herself, but not getting the specific nutrients that her brain and her body needed to function well. I referred her to her primary care doctor for blood work and connected her with a nutritionist to start addressing those gaps. Once Betty started working with her medical team on the nutritional piece, her anxiety began to lift. But the part that I find the most meaningful was that she now felt empowered. She told me that she finally felt like she found the piece of the puzzle that had been missing for a lot longer than it should have been. Not because the anxiety disappeared overnight, but because she understood what was causing it. And that understanding changed everything for her. That's what holistic wellness actually does. It follows the thread until you find where it starts. So here's the thing. Your stress And your anxiety may have been ramped up this week, not for any other reason than this month's full moon. And no, this has nothing to do with superstition. There's actually research out of the University of Basel that found around the full moon, people took longer to fall asleep, they spent less time in deep sleep, and they showed lower melatonin levels, even when they couldn't see the moon or had no idea the study was happening. Their bodies still responded, though, because light, even ambient lunar light, influences your pineal gland's melatonin production. Less melatonin means disrupted sleep. Disrupted sleep means elevated cortisol. Elevated cortisol is your stress response system, and it's running hotter than it needs to be. So if you have been feeling a little more anxious this week, if things that normally wouldn't bother you suddenly do, your nervous system was responding to a real biological shift. And here's why this is important. When your brain can name what's happening, it will down-regulate the alarm. The uncertainty itself is part of the stress. So knowing this is a full moon week, it's temporary. I'm not falling apart and I understand. That is self-regulating. Information, when it's the right information, delivered simply, can calm your nervous system down. And that's neuroscience. I want you to sit with something for just a second. Just a question. What is your body trying to tell you now that you keep putting off or ignoring? Not the big stuff, not the it's time to reinvent my life stuff. Just the one signal that keeps coming up. The chronic tension, the sleep that's never quite right. Maybe there's been a low-grade hum of something that's off, maybe, that you've been managing around instead of addressing. The full moon is a natural completion point. It's a pause built into the rhythm of the month. Most of us just blow past it without noticing, but your body doesn't. It knows. So if you're willing to slow down enough to listen, even just for a moment, there's usually something worth hearing. Here's what I want you to do this week. 3 simple things. 1, stop treating symptoms in isolation. Your anxiety, your sleep, your stress, they're all connected. You are not a collection of separate problems. You are one person, and you deserve to be looked at that way. Number 2, begin by listening to one signal, not all of them all at once, just one. One thing your body has been trying to tell you that you've been putting off. Just start there. And number 3, learn to quiet the noise. I know I say this a lot, but it's really, really important. Take 10 minutes, go for a walk, journal without an agenda. Just enough time to hear what's going on, because you cannot get the message if things are too loud. As for the full moon, I'm not asking you to become a moon nerd like me. What I'm asking you to do is consider that your body moves in rhythms. Daily ones, we have our circadian rhythm. Monthly ones, like the moon. Seasonal ones, like the seasons. And the more you understand those rhythms, the less your body's responses feel like something is happening to you. And the more they feel like information that you can actually use. If this episode stuck with you today, join our Substack community, where we can explore this idea a little bit further. You'll also find some reflection questions, herbal remedies, and a community of like-minded people. It's free to subscribe. The link is in the show notes. I hope you make some time today and every day for some peace, some plants, and some pause. Thank you so much for listening to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness.